We are previewing the main card of UFC 194 right now with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Nick Kalikas, another awesome fight here on the main card. Yoel Romero and Ronaldo Souza. Right now, Souza is minus 150 at 5 dimes. Romero plus 130 on the other side. Again, this is going to be a great fight, and you can make a great case for both guys. Souza probably, arguably the more well-rounded MMA fighter, but Romero, the better wrestler, and he's coming off a great fight, right? He knocked out Lyoto Machida. So anyone who can, knock out Machida like that as an underdog, plus 130 probably has value against almost anyone. Feels like another dog or pass situation to me. Would you agree with that, Nick?
Yeah, I do. I mean, this is going to kind of be a common trend on this card, but that's what makes this card so special.
Yeah.
Because every single dog on this main card has a legit shot, not just because there's hype or anything like that. I mean, they're just quality fighters that can actually pull off the wins here. So these are a lot of coin flip type of fights. We're going to see some dogs coming through, and I think this is another one that it has potential, like you said, that it is a dog or pass situation here. I mean, Jacare Souza, he's looked great. This is the scary thing, the improvements that both have made throughout their careers. I mean, Jacare is mainly known for his ground game, his jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's a world-class, one of the best ever in the sport. And then he's translated that into the cage really well. I mean, he's been working on his stand-up game. Now he's not just a jiu-jitsu fighter. He can actually beat you on the feet. His wrestling has improved. He's just a well-rounded fighter. And then especially on the ground, obviously, he gets you down, man, it's over. How impressive was he against Gegard Mousasi? In my opinion,
yeah.
I didn't expect him to just blow through Mousasi like he did, because Mousasi's improved a lot as well. So that tells you the level of improvement really Jacare has made. And then at the same time, Romero, man, I've bet against this guy a couple times, and it hasn't gone well for me, obviously, because he just keeps on improving as well. I mean, to me, his chin has been a little bit suspect. Mm-hmm. He's been wobbled in fights. He's been rocked, obviously. He's been knocked out in the past. So that's one thing, and it's his cardio that seems to be letting him down at times as well. Right. He starts off really strong, and then he starts to slow down, and he's a little bit more vulnerable as that goes. But recently, that's not the case. I mean, he's getting a little bit more disciplined in his fighting. He's not really going crazy, I think, from the onslaught. Like from the beginning, he's being a little bit more disciplined, and it's working out for him. I mean, he's being able to kind of control his pace, and then he's such an explosive athlete, and he's got so much pure knockout power that he's a very dangerous and capable guy against anybody in this middleweight division. And the winner of this is obviously getting a title shot. So there's big implications around this fight. And that was quite an impressive performance against Machida that he just came off of. Like you said, I mean, who's done that to Machida recently? I mean, I know that we were just talking about Luke Rockhold, but Romero stepping in, after that fight actually and doing something similar and just blowing through him, that tells you a lot as well, because Machida, in my mind, has been one of the greatest for a long time now. So impressive win for him. I think he only gets better. I mean, Tim Kennedy, there's a lot of controversy surrounding that fight as well, but who's done what he did to Tim Kennedy? I mean, you got to look at it like that as well. So this guy is just a beast, and I think he matches up well stylistically against a guy like Jacare Souza, because what's Souza going to want to do? He's going to want to take the fight to the floor. Well, with the world-class wrestling background that Romero has, that's not going to be an easy task.
Sure. Although
he has been taken down in the UFC. I mean, Brunson had some success early on in that fight as well. So it's not out of the question that Jacare Souza gets a fight to the ground. I think he's capable of doing that. I'm just thinking that it's going to be a lot more difficult than most of us think, because Romero is going to know what the game plan is here for sure. Even though Jacare's striking has improved, his best path to victory is definitely getting the fight to the floor. And on the way in, he's going to absorb some punishment. I don't know if he could take it from Romero either. So I'm expecting a better Romero to show up here. I mean, he's gradually improved every fight, like I said, and I think stylistically he just matches up well for him. I think I've always questioned Jacare's chin a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's taggable. He's been rocked before as well. He's been knocked out. We could say the same thing about both guys here. So I think that Romero is just a little bit more explosive, and stylistically he matches up well enough that he could probably stay upright and then land that knockout punch.
That's what I'm thinking as well. And, in these competitive fights, I find myself more attracted to the totals. And despite the fact that these guys, have such devastating finishing capabilities is the reason that this total is so low. Right now it's 1.5 rounds. The over is minus 165. I think, again, kind of similar to the Aldo fight, they're going to have a healthy amount of respect for the finishing abilities of the other fighter, but I think we might actually see a longer fight than the market's giving credit for. What do you think about over 1.5 rounds, minus 165, Nick Kalikas?
Again, another kind of tough spot, because if you're laying the 165, I think there's a good chance it does end in the first round. I mean, like I said, Jacare's even improved his stand-up game, so not out of question that even if he can't get the fight to the floor, he doesn't clip Romero. I mean, he has a lot of power as well. Or Romero, like I said, on the way in, Jacare might get tagged and put out. So laying that kind of juice, I don't know. It's kind of a tricky spot for me because I do think that it could very well go over. But at the same time, I mean, these guys both have such big finishing power and capabilities even on the floor. If Jacare gets it on the floor, if he gets mount or if he gets top position, I mean, it's pretty much a wrap. So Romero is going to get finished fairly quickly. So I don't know if I'd be really tempted to lay the juice on the over 1.5. It's kind of a tricky spot. I'd probably stay away from that and go with the dog again straight up here.
Nick Kalikas from MMAoddsbreaker.com. Thanks so much.